is when it's fun.
What's that?
This is when it's fun.
Oh yeah. It's more fun when we catch the spotties in there.
Yeah, I know. I got them earlier over there. They were mixed with the whites.
Yeah, they were in pretty good.
And I got them on the top water here. Hi everybody, it's Dalton. Welcome to DRW Bass Fishing. I want to talk about a bait that I recently bought called a Berkley Choppo. If you've ever watched any of my videos, you're going to know that I'm a big fan of the Whopper Plopper, the River to Sea Whopper Plopper. It comes in different sizes. It's that prop style bait, top water action, just a really good way to catch fish. And you know, when it comes to top water fishing, there's so many ways you can catch them. There's topwater frogs that you can walk. They have these frogs that have the little props on their feet. There's walking style baits. I mean, every once in a while I'll come across somebody that tells me as a bass fisherman they just don't like topwater fishing. And I think it's because they don't know how to use some of these baits. For example, a frog, you know, you got to spend a little bit of time learning how to walk a frog or even a walking bait like this. Well, if you want to get into topwater fishing, and I really like to help people who are just getting into fishing or just starting out, one of the baits that I ran across is called a Berkley Choppo, okay? It is very, very similar to the River to Sea Whopper Plopper, okay? Little subtle differences. The River to Sea Whopper Plopper has more of a rubber style tail. I've heard people say that sometimes it melts in the sun. I've never had that happen. The Choppo has a hard tail. The shape is a little bit different. Sometimes the River to Sea, when you're working it, will turn side to side. But I noticed with this Choppo that it stays pretty straight the whole time. Both hooks are pretty good, and actually I like both baits. But let's talk about this Berkley Choppo, and I fished this yesterday. The first thing I want to do is talk about how to rig it. My setup's pretty simple. I've got a TP1 Lew's speed stick, 7-foot medium heavy. I've got a Lew's speed spool, 7:5-to-1 gear ratio, and I've got 30-pound braid. Now my braid of choice is Suffix 832. The color is Vis Green. And then of course I have the Choppo. Now the knot that I use is one of my favorite knots when I'm using braid at any time, and that's the Palomar knot. A Palomar knot holds really well with braid, and notice I keep a pretty good tag in just in case the braid slips just a little bit. So rigging it is relative. It's a top water explosion right now. It's a lot of fun. Oh no, this is a nice one here. Oh yeah, that's a big old white bass. That's a big white bass right there. Big old healthy chunk. Another thing I want to talk to you about is when and where to use it. There's so many applications. You know, if I've got overcast or wind on the water, I like throwing this bait. If there's a shaded area where I'm fishing, or if I can, you know, get it under a tree, I like to throw it there. I like to throw it around boulders and docks and different areas like that. But yesterday, one of the ways that I used it was I just found areas of open water where the fish were on a feeding frenzy. I was chasing the white bass yesterday because they were really active at the lake. Now the white bass will come up, they'll start feeding on top of the water, things get really crazy. It becomes a lot of fun. But one of the things that I like about that is I know the spotted bass run with them as well. See in front here, they're flashing like crazy. But the regular bass will also run with these white bass. They'll run with them too. Little chunky guy right here. Now let's talk about how to retrieve it. Retrieving this bait is super easy. If you don't like throwing baits that you have to walk or do certain things with, you just want something to throw out and wind it back, this is the bait to use. I did a little video yesterday kind of showing you how I retrieve this bait, and I like to retrieve it really slow. One of the ways that I throw this bait is I'll just throw it out and just slowly reel it back in. I like to work this bait pretty slow. And I just caught a fish. Well, hopefully this video helped you. The Berkley Choppo comes in 3 sizes. It comes in a 90, a 105, and a 120. This is the biggest one they make. It's the 120. It's very similar to the Whopper Plopper 190, I believe it is. So they're both about the same size. I think the Whopper Plopper is a little heavier and has a little bigger hooks. But like I say, both these baits are fine. I've got plenty of both. When I need more, what I do is, since I like them both, I just want to figure out which ones are on sale, and that's the ones I'm going to get. Hopefully this video helps. Go out and do some topwater bass fishing. It's super fun. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you soon.